Live. I go by the name of MJ, and as usual, I'm not alone. I'm with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Mike Kumi. And today
How's it
we have
going,
a
MJ?
special guest. Today we have a special guest with us, Lucretia. Hope I don't butcher the name. Sebolao. Welcome, Lucretia. Her mic is muted. Why can't I unmute it? Okay. Hello, Lucretia. Can you hear us? Well, Lucretia is an educator and will be joining us for this conversation. Uh, this is something that I've been also uh, going through. The little man is about to go to big school, and I found myself looking for a school that's like, okay, no, knowing what I know, I need to find a Christian school for the young man. Hence why this conversation that we're having, we seem to be having some difficult technical difficulties. Lucretia, are you back? Hello? Are you back? Hello? Can you hear us? Connection is an issue. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Mike, pray over the live stream so that connection would start being.
Did I?
At this rate, we are going to get cancer. They will cancel us at this rate. Lucretia, we can't hear you. If you have access to headphones, I think headphones would make life easier.
Yeah, try put them in. Let's see what happens.
Uh, Let me just. Yeah, you can talk to the people while I try to.
The So Heavenly Radio fans
And family.
and family. Our DMs are always opened. You guys should also let us know what you would like us to address, or if you would like to come on and address something, you should definitely let us know. I think we are more than willing to engage all kinds of people in different aspects of the gospel, of walks of life. We are interested in such a variety of various topics. So let us know.
Yeah, I think join the conversation and also just give us ideas or any questions that you would like us to, or topics that you would like addressed. Yes,
Hmm.
it's a community gathering. Yes, it's a community gathering, and we're just here to learn from each other. So we're not saying, no, we have it all figured out, we know everything. We
Mm.
are always open to learning from other people. We gather, we come, we share different opinions and viewpoints on things that we learn from each other. So it's a community and it's an open platform. So I think soon we should have like, yeah, invite all of our community members so that we can just come and have a chat. Uh, do like a live Q&A session on the platform. So
Yes.
so today, if you want to join the conversation, that is our WhatsApp. You can join it via WhatsApp, or you can also join it via the comment section. We are streaming on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can invite your family and friends to join. Uh, Sharing is caring, so that is the WhatsApp line. So you can share your message there, your voice notes on there, +267 7474 1714. We are still struggling to get Lucretia, and we will wait for a bit and give her an opportunity to fix her connection. The topic for the day is, do we need Christ-centered schools? What do you think, man? We need them.
We definitely need the option to have it on the table.
Okay.
When I put up the poster for today's session, someone
Yes.
reached out and said, yes, of course we do, because the Muslims have their school. There's our city, there's Al Nur. You've got St. Joe, which is more, your Catholic oriented school.
Yes.
And so why not? Why can't you be very specific in how you want to raise or teach your kids when it comes to education and the morals that you want to marry the education with? So I don't think there's a problem with it in that sense. You're not
Yes.
discriminating against anyone, but if you are a Christian, definitely you need to instill Christian values in your child
Please.
from a young age.
Yes. Yeah, as you've already said, everybody has their option. We also need our options, so that at least if you want to and you see the need, then you can take it up and say, okay, no, for me, this is what I have decided that I'm going to take my child
Yes.
to a, yes. I didn't even know until I started searching that we actually have Christian schools. I guess because we are not as loud and proud about, or we try to downplay it, if I may put it like that. Like, oh, we don't really, it's not like a selling point that we try to push, because we are trying to attract, we are trying to open our doors to everybody. And also, I think living in today's age where you try not to be offensive,
Mm.
because sometimes it's like if you tell somebody that you are a Christian, they could take it that no, this one thinks in a certain way. Uh, so there's connotations that have now been attached to Christianity. That if you now say, no, I'm a Christian, then people now box you in as this person now who probably eats grass on Sunday.
and growing up, the Christian schools were not, and I think maybe even today, they were always understaffed. They didn't always have the best resources. They weren't always the
Yes,
biggest. They wouldn't always play all the sports. And so when Christian parents would look at these schools and think, ah, on one hand, they're teaching Christian values, but they don't seem to
but
give a wholesome approach to education.
yes,
They're
yes,
heavy-handed on the spiritual side, but when it comes to the recreational, the sports, the activities, they're not really there. So
yes,
yeah, I understand why parents can be conflicted.
yes. I think it's important. For me, I'm a radical.
Mm.
I would like it where we have our own Christian banks. Like we are there, we are present, Baba. Like you can't overlook us. We are there. Whatever big institution is there, Christians are there, and they're in. We are represented,
Do
so
you
that
know
you
the
can
problem
go
with
and be
that?
like, yeah,
Do you know what the issue with that is?
What is it?
Christianity, unfortunately, is inclusive. It's not exclusive. So you will start off where everyone is a Christian. The founding members of the company or the school are Christian. But as time goes
Yeah.
on, you brought
It's
everyone in.
diluted.
It's
It's
diluted
diluted
because you're
now.
trying to
Yes.
evangelize and bring them in. Now it's
In
diluted.
open, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is a challenge, but I think if we try and be vocal of who you are and what you stand for as a company, then obviously that will be uh, uh, because in some societies, for you to, I'm now just now going a bit off course here, but anyway, flow with me. For you to marry a girl,
Mm.
you have to be part of the religion. Like they will not let you in unless you are part of the religion. And that is the
Mm-hmm.
standard that they have set. So even you, when you come, you approach, you already know what is the requirement. Like, okay, no, if I'm
Mm.
interested in this person, these are the standards that are there. So I'm going to have to now convert now and start worshiping what the girl that I'm pursuing and I want to marry uh, is pursuing. Uh, we have a comment here from I love today's topic and it's beautiful and insight. I can't wait to hear from you. We can't also wait to hear from Lucretia as soon as Lucretia jumps on board. But I think let us just continue. Uh,
Hey, Tato,
if we need to revisit,
we'll be speaking to
uh,
you exclusively if you are the
yeah,
if you are
Tato, we are in this thing together, my brother.
hey let's go.
Let's go. So I think let's start off with the main reason why we are here. I'm
Mm.
about to play a video. It's a 3 minute long video. Uh, it's about a book that has been written for 10-year-olds. But my recommendation is that, or what I would suggest is that if you, because there is a bit of strong language in there, and there are some very, uh, is the word disturbing or sexual graphic material that is in the video. So if you are somebody who's sensitive to that, or if there are children around, please let the children look away. Or if you are somehow easily offended, please, we suggest that you switch away now because we're about to play the video. And then I think from there we'll just comment on it. And then please also share your comments and then let's just take it from there. And we will flow as the spirit leads. Yes, let's go.
Earlier. It's called It's Perfectly Normal for Students 10 and Up. This book details all kinds of sexual images, pictures of elderly people nude, pictures of an individual who's in a wheelchair with his penis out. All of these sexual pornographic images are made available and placed at the fingertips of children. And I'm sure, Dr. Cruz, I don't know if you knew about this before you signed on, but hopefully this is something that you can address and deal with, because this is immoral and asinine to allow children to be able to see this. Also, this book even shows images of two women having sex, a man and a woman having sex, and two men having sex. That's not perfectly normal. Who decides what's normal? Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Or do parents decide what should be placed at the fingertips and allowed to be taught to their children in the school system? I'll read some of this for you. It says, after a bit, a person's vagina becomes moist and slippery, and the clitoris becomes hard. After
Sir,
a bit, a person's penis,
Pastor, I'm
penis
asking you, I'm gonna-
becomes erect,
Excuse me.
stiff, and larger.
Pastor,
Sometimes a bit of clear
Pastor.
fluid that may contain
Pastor.
a few sperm comes out of the tip of the penis and makes
Pastor.
it wet.
can we, sir, I'm sorry.
Was it something I said? Was it something I said? If you don't want to hear it in a school board meeting, why should children be able to check it out of the school system? You see, we have perverts that are perverting our kids. And you all sit back smug in your chairs and celebrate diversity, equity, and inclusion, but you don't want me to read it so you can hear it. Why? Does it bother you? Yes or no? You can't answer that question. You want to know why? Because politically speaking, you can't say that it's wrong. You probably are a Christian man, but many Christians today have become more Democrat than Christian. Some Republicans have become more Republican than Christian. I'm not trying to win an election. I don't get my talking points from the RNC or the DNC. I get my talking points from the Bible, from the Bible. And you don't want me to read the filth because it exposes the truth. How dare you tell me to stop reading?
Yeah. So that is part of the reason why we are having this conversation today. As you have already said or listened to that is a book that has been written for 10-year-olds. I had a course or a module in UB for sexual reproduction for a whole semester. And when I saw that book, I was shook. I was like, I sat through 3 months of sexual reproduction, but it was never presented in that manner. Because I think the truth of the matter is sex education is important. And I think it doesn't have to be explicit. It doesn't have to read like some R-rated novel for adults. And what is scary is that is a book that an adult somewhere said, oh, this is a very important material that the kids should have access to. Which is very scary, that we have adults making such decision and exposing young children to such material. Because the reality is that as a young child, you are very vulnerable. And if you get introduced to such material at a young age, chances are you'll find yourself now getting addicted to stuff that you never even thought of. Because that will, if you are now listening to that video now, all the graphic imagery that is there, you will end up now getting into pornography and getting addicted to that. So hence why the topic that we are having today, that I ask Christian schools important to us. Do we need them? Are they necessary? Because I'm sure for some, they might not see the importance of that. But for me as a parent, and I believe also for you, Mike, in a couple of years, you'll also be shopping around for schools. I want to take my child to a school that I know that my child will be taken care of, and they will be taught proper Christian morals that they can grow up with. Because we live in a society now that is trying to do away with God.
Yeah.
But we forget the benefits of that package deal that comes with us preaching the message. That we are not out here preaching Jesus, God is love, and what he preaches is love. So I struggle with this one. Yes, Mike, your thoughts, your honest thoughts on that video that we just watched.
My honest thoughts. I think first and foremost, it becomes a challenge when the curriculum changes and the teachers are forced to teach the new curriculum. So there is a structure and there's a system in place. And I don't know whoever advises the board and however the curriculum changes, I'm not quite sure because in every country it's different, or every kind of institutional board it's different. But for example, here we do BG and we do IG. So IGCSE, that comes from the UK, and then BG, which comes from Botswana, but which is like tries to mirror or is a variant of IG. Now, if people in the UK decided that they needed to now add this gender non-conformity type of agenda in the curriculum and start teaching kids this, what can the teachers in Botswana do? The teachers that are teaching IGCSE, what can they do? May I put it forth that I don't think there's anything they can do. They will have to teach the curriculum because it's coming above their head. It's coming from a place that gives them the ability to teach. So when you talk about Christian schools, it has to go right to the top, right from where the curriculum is being made and being set. How then can Christians even create their own accredited kind of program for primary school? Because PSLE, let's get a Christian one. Kindergarten, let's get a Christian accreditation. High school, let's get a Christian IG, let's get a Christian O level, let's get a Christian-based A level. Because what happens, what I see is that whatever curriculum is given, you can't do anything about it. You just have to teach it, and the kids have to receive it.
Yeah, that's a good one. So you just have to basically influence all levels of education. So I think even to those who are watching as well, let us share with us your thoughts on that video. Looks like we have Lucretia back with us. Okay. So yeah, please share with us your thoughts on that video. Hello, Lucretia.
I think I'm back now.
Okay, you are back. Welcome back.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Hello.
I think we'll just jump straight into it. You can share with us who you are and what you do.
All right. Okay. Good morning, everybody,
Yes.
and good morning to everybody that's watching this live. My name is Lucretia Sebolao, and I am from Patima Tuitions. That's a facility that provides full-time homeschooling and part-time tutorials as well.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you missed the video that we just played.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Are you having a challenge that time? Can you hear us?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. We have a...
Yes, I can.
Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so you are from Patima, and you are an educator, so you are very knowledgeable with what we are talking about, because Mike was just talking about the fact that we are not educators, so our opinion is very limited and an uneducated opinion, if you might put it like that. So we want to find out how. Okay, let us continue. We lost here. Victor Mualefe says a very good topic. Looking forward to hearing your engagement. Looks like everybody's very interested in this topic, but
Thank you,
it
Victor.
looks like
Victor, you're in the
It-
right place. We are experts when it comes to education. MJ and I are experts in. Where did you get your PhD, MJ?
online. I got my PhD online. Yeah, I think as you were just talking there about just the importance of influencing all bits, because if we miss out on, I think it's just us as Christians also being activated and being present in all these spheres of influence in a country, that we do not remove ourselves from certain mountain tops, so to speak. So we should be present there in media. So we should be present in broadcasting. We should be present in finance, in government. There should be representation of Christians, because one decision that is made could basically, for lack of a better word, just wipe us out. So if we are not present in the curriculums that are being made to educate our own children as Christians, then we are in trouble. Because if whoever we have put there in charge decides that, oh no, it's appropriate for children now to have access to pornographic material, then we have no issue. We are going to have an issue there.
You
Yes.
know, as you're speaking, MJ, one of the issues that the whole world deals with on a daily basis, almost on an interaction to interaction basis, is the aftermath of a traumatized childhood. What I mean by that is kids that were abused emotionally, physically, sexually, kids that were not given attention, kids that were perhaps treated in an ill manner. All of these things tend to present themselves in very negative ways as the child grows up. When we now have to deal with each other as adults, you start seeing the negative adverse effects of a child that has not been instructed in the ways of the Lord. And let me be as bold enough to say, if you do not raise your child in the ways of the Lord, you should not be surprised as to some of the issues or the challenges that they start facing when they get older. Now,
Yes.
I am not suggesting that Christian kids don't experience challenges as adults. That's not what we're saying.
Yes.
What we're saying is the best environment for your child is one where the friends are also headed in the same direction in thought, in deed, in their speech. The teachers are headed in the same direction. The headmaster is headed in the same direction. Everyone around them is encouraging them to speak, act, and walk like a Christian, and to be less inclined towards the flesh, and to delay gratification,
Gratification.
to be gracious to others, to borrow and lend, and like all of these values and principles, you need a holistic approach to it, and I would just love to see more of that, because a lot of Christian parents are taking their kids to schools that have excellent academic output or results,
Results,
and
yeah.
the spiritual side is not so important until the kid grows up, and then you see the deficit.
I think as you are talking there, I came across a paper that shows the negative or adverse effects of early childhood engagement in sexual activity, and even early exposing children to pornographic material early, that it leads them now to having multiple partners, them not being able to be stable, And then even also that it triggers, it switches them that even in future, they no longer now can be aroused when they are now married. They need that visual imagery to be able to be aroused. So these things have, as you're already saying, the sufferings continue for a very long period of time, or rather, the manifestations of them now start developing later on. And now you start fighting battles that if the right environment could have been created and had been fought for, then you had a better chance. As you have already said, we are not saying that Christian kids are going to be are not going to face or deal with any challenge, but you are saying you are giving them the best tools to be able to face whatever life challenge that they will face. So
That's right.
for me, I think it's important really that we influence every sphere that can be influenced, that we influence it, that we do not go there and just be merely spectators, or we water down ourselves and then just say, oh no, I don't, I'm not a church goer like that. I go sometimes, so that people don't start thinking of you or looking at you in any other way. So I think it's really important that we have these Christian schools to be able, because as Christians, we are saying this is how we want to raise our children.
Yes.
I want this environment. I know growing up, our parents wouldn't allow us to visit just anybody. Yes, because they knew something about that family. So they would just be like, nope, you're not going there. You cannot be friends with that one. Nope.
Sleep, we're laughing about this, but it's so serious that sleepovers, like some parents are very strict on sleepovers because that is where certain things are initiated and then
Yes.
have lifelong lasting effects.
Yes.
So, like we're saying, I've heard numerous and countless stories of where pornography, if they traced their addiction, it started when, the house help used to show them stuff, or they used to watch things at home, or when at school that the boys would take out a phone or a magazine and show them the female body, and it's like, it seems innocent. It seems like you're not seeing the effect on the child, and until years later, it comes out that no, they struggled with sexuality or whatever because
Yeah.
they were exposed to it at such a young age. Now, the video that we just watched comes from America, and in America, there is this idea that everyone must be sexually liberated. Everyone must have the option to explore their sexuality. If you don't feel like a man today, tomorrow there are hormone suppressants, there are psychologists, therapists that will help you to transition and will put you on medication. And if you want to take it further, they'll even help you chop off your breasts and do mutilation on you. It's very serious to have
Yeah.
a mainstream society that is willing to do such harm to our kids. And that is why we have to be serious about where our kids go for information and where they go to learn on a daily basis.
Yeah. As you are saying that, I first came across pornographic material. Somebody brought a magazine to school.
See?
And mind you, this is like 1998. And I went to school in a village. So I'm like, where did you find this magazine? So I'm sure somebody, an uncle or whoever brought that magazine, and that guy probably stole it from them and brought it to school. So if at least in school, the fear of the Lord is being pushed, then it then minimizes those material just being able to be pushed and flourished easily because it's the conscious in essence is dead. And also when you're talking about the American issue, because with the Americans now, I think in some states, if I'm not mistaken, that if your child wakes up and tells you that they're a girl or they're a boy, and if you don't now support that they can come and actually take the child away.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then that they're just basically trying to remove parents from doing their job, which is parenting the child. That now basically the government is the one that is parenting and deciding for you. So it's either you jump on board, or we basically come and take the child away from you. We live in a time where you cannot be passive as a parent. We live in a time you cannot say, the teachers got this, I trust them, they will do the best job ever. That you have to be present as a parent. And you have to make sure, what are you guys learning at school? What is teacher telling you? That you cannot take a back seat now. Because all we see is that even in that video, I'm sure it was one person who brought that book and was like, oh, I think this book will be great, blah, 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 blah. But because of the stage that has been set now, I'm sure people were scared to talk or suggest, no, we can't, because then they probably might be deemed to be not supportive of what is being pushed. So you just have, because now you're trying to keep your job. Yeah. Yeah, just like, oh, no, let me support this motion. Let us try Lucretia again. Hello, Lucretia.
Hello.
there
You
she
are
is.
back.
Yeah.
Yes, you owe us for being fake educator.
I really, really do. My connection was a bit of a problem on my side.
We have
Can
fake
hand in
doc.
our PhDs now.
We have fake doctors, and now we have fake educators as well.
But you were doing good. You were doing good. You were really flowing.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think we already asked you what you guys do as Patsima tuitions. You have already answered that. I think something that we're just talking about now, or we're just about to get into, is that I'm sure there's a parent somewhere or somebody who's getting ready to be a new parent. Mike is a new parent now. I'm sure Mike in a couple of years will be looking for schools and stuff like that. So
All
how
right.
does Mike create the right environment for the child to be able to flourish academically? What can we as parents do? Because we're just talking now about that parents cannot be passive anymore, that parents need to be active in their
True. Yeah.
children's education. So what is the responsibility on the parent?
Like as you have mentioned, when it comes to education, we really, really need parents that are all in. School can do 70% of the work, but in most instances, kids that are not supported from home end up in a lot of things, and that on its own can affect a child's studies. So the best thing a parent can do for a kid when it comes to school is support. The best thing you can do is support. Yes.
Because I remember for us growing up, you come back with like 90%. The old man would sit you down and ask you, so what happened to the 10%?
Yeah. Because in things now have changed. Parents are very busy, and most of the time, kids are parented or looked after by nannies. So you'd find out that parents don't make time for that to go through student books, and they only have limited time. And in when it comes to student studies, you'd find out that most parents don't know their kids. because you leave the house at 6 a.m. in the morning, you come at 9 p.m., the child is tired or they're sleeping. You only meet them, it's just hi, hi. You don't get to sit down and talk certain topics with your kid. And that is one of the major things that you'd find out that most parents don't know their kids. They don't. They don't.
Somebody, yeah, somebody was actually talking about that parents are so focused on securing the bag and climbing up the corporate ladder that we
Yeah,
ignore our kids. But then what we don't realize is that we are going to pay for those sins later on now, when these
yeah,
kids now have become adults now, and we realize that the fact that I was not a present father or a present mother, I allowed for some things
yeah.
to
True.
flourish under the radar. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
that is
think it's
why,
very important.
and with
Yes.
most, very common with most teenage parents, you'd figure out that a parent doesn't even know that the child is in drugs because they never have those conversations. It's very important as parents to sit down your kids and be able to talk, even the most sensitive things.
Yes.
You you should be able to talk to your child.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
so being present, you'll be able to notice certain. Yeah, because if you are
Yes.
coming home and if you are coming home and your child is sleeping, so chances are you'll not notice any subtle changes that are happening
Yeah.
with your child. Yeah,
Yeah.
that you are able
True.
to ask and say, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I would
Uh,
like to think this is not just a problem in the city, because in the village, kids are also doing drugs and are also doing like taking up nefarious activities. So, what then is the actual issue? Uh, is our culture progressive in making sure that the parents are present in the life of children?
I think our culture, to a certain extent, it blocks because people that grow people from way back. There were certain things there are certain topics that our grandmothers and our mothers were not supposed to talk about. I'm sorry. There are certain topics that people from the 70s feel that this is a topic that I cannot talk. They are forbidden topics. So that on its own, there shouldn't be a barrier, and that causes communication barrier between parents and their kids. Most parents feel that providing, is the only way of support that they can give to their kids, which is wrong.
yeah, I think it's
Sometimes,
true.
yeah, sometimes kids just need you to believe in them. That's it.
And be present.
Be present.
Yes. Yeah, because I think it's true. Culturally, we don't. I mean, even for us growing up, we just knew that the father always has to be away. When he comes home, he has to be tired. If the guy is fed and he sleeps, that's it. So there are no conversations that are had with with your father.
They're only going to see your marks during report collection.
Yes.
They'll be surprised. Oh, so Lucretia is a bright student. I didn't know. They can never know because they never go through your books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that level of just engagement and conversing with our kids. Yeah, because I think it happens to parents where they just get caught up in providing for the family, that is the only goal that is there, that okay, I just have to provide for these people and then my job is done.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I think also sometimes conversations can also be straining and difficult to navigate.
But talking is important. Talking is
Yes.
important. Communication is very, very important. That is why most kids that are raised or that go to private schools, they are seen as forward, or in our culture we say oh papa,
Yeah.
because they're able to speak and express themselves, unlike a kid that was raised in the village that cannot be able to stand up for themselves. That kid would be bullied, and they cannot be able to speak that out because it's a forbidden topic. Yes.
And that's where now abuse and other stuff will then flourish now, because children are afraid to express themselves. Because I'm sure some things happen, and you as a child, you're just like, I know if I brought this up that, oh, my uncle did this to me, I'm going to be probably the one who's blamed for the
Yeah.
uncle's
Yeah.
poor decisions. And now
Yeah.
then the parents will then be annoyed at me. So for me to avoid this, I will just keep it to myself and keep it moving.
Yes.
Uh, and then, what are some of the impediments to a child's success at school?
The first one is it's lack of support, like we mentioned, that
Yes,
kids mostly they need somebody to believe in them, to be able to tell them that you have the potential, you can do this. And sometimes it's the environments that we grow in. Peer pressure is one of the things that can really derail students from excelling from school. The companies
yes,
we keep, that is why it's very important as parents to be able, if your child is telling you about sleepovers, you need to know that family, you need to know that a, a bit of this and that about them.
yes,
And the other factor in our setup, our homeschooling setup, is it's very flexible, really flexible, in the sense that a parent can tell you that, okay, no, I'd want my kid to close school on this date and open on this date. So that on its own can steal time, students' time, the absenteeism, because the student wouldn't have much of,
time.
yes, much of time.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So those are some of the things, and from a student's perspective, students' ownership and accountability. Those are that is one of the things that could lead to a student being unable to excel in their studies.
yes.
Yes.
So you guys offer homeschooling. So there's homeschooling in Botswana.
Yes, there is homeschooling. We can either do it at the comfort of your house or at any of our centers.
Wow.
So with exams, they write where do they write exams these days?
They are registered as private candidates.
Okay. And
Yes.
they write they have exams at your center.
No, that's the facilities where they
They
write
they write the exams.
yes, and they write
Oh,
the exams that are written nationally.
okay.
Like if at all
Uh,
it's PSLE, they'll be writing exams that are written by other schools, and the
yes.
results are published as other normal students or normal
Yes.
schools. Yes,
Oh,
it's
okay.
just the only difference is that they're registered as private candidates.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yes,
Wow. I didn't know such things exist. So we appreciate you, Lucretia,
thank you so
for
much.
for 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 the much needed knowledge. And then,
Oh,
what are the impacts that sex, drugs, abuse, alcohol will have on a child?
Um, I'll I'll talk about it from both angles, from the school
Okay.
side and a bit of from the Christian side. A child that is into drugs or sex or is being abused for one, the concentration span wouldn't be as normal. They would, the concentration is always on to, if at all I'm being abused, each time I'm in class, I'm going to be thinking, gosh, it's almost after school. I have to go home and, yes. And
Encounter.
then the other thing, low self-esteem. Students that are into drugs and all those, they have a certain, well, let me say sex to be exact, they have a certain level of low self-esteem, especially if they had been pregnant. Once she comes back to school, her confidence isn't going to be as it was before. Yes, and that on its own can has a bit of impact in their studies to a certain level. And the students are always feeling full of fear. Somebody with low self-esteem, they're unable to stand up for themselves in anything. And we all know that fear never comes from God.
Amen.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a parent now who's probably watching this or is probably going to watch this at a later date and say, okay, I
Okay.
have a child. I'm
Yes.
sure you, as an educator, you are encountering hundreds, if not thousands, of students on a regular basis, and
Yes.
you have developed a sixth sense, if we could put it like that.
Yeah.
Uh, yes. What are the red flags when a child now is starting to derail now? What can I identify or pick up as a parent to say, this child is something is going on here?
Okay. Firstly, it's going to be a change in character. For girls, you know that each time when they feel or dating older men, they would have this confidence that they feel that elders are nothing and they can talk to you anyhow, even if you try to. They feel that they are woke. Yeah, they feel that they know so much.
They are grown women now. They are grown
They're
women.
grown and they can do anything, and that they cannot be told what to do by anyone.
Yeah,
So the other thing is there are certain kids that excel in school. So all of a sudden you'd see a change in the marks. They start going they start performing below par.
yeah.
As a teacher, because our setups, you are given ratio one teacher is to 10 students.
Okay.
So if you are one teacher and you are in a classroom of 10, you are able to pick the different personalities of that little group that you have. A slight change of something, you're able to pick that fast. Unlike when
Yeah,
you are in a class of 40 or 30, it's going to take you time for me to even notice that, oh, Lucretia hasn't been coming to school for 4 days, or Lucretia hasn't been herself. Lucretia is always crying. And another thing, there are certain topics that are always a trigger to students that are going through certain things. You'd be in class and maybe you're talking about divorce, and then a child starts crying. And as an educator, you should be able to sit that child down and try to understand how they're feeling and why they're feeling that way, and then try to provide safe space.
yeah.
Providing a
And
safe space for students is very, very important because they're able to express themselves much, much better.
yeah. And then
Yes.
when you bring these things that you have noticed to the parents, how do the parents respond? Is it a positive or a negative?
It differs from one parent to another.
Yeah.
It differs from
Okay.
one parent to another. Some parents, you may call them and tell them that one, two, three, and then another one is worried and they would want to seek help for that student. And then another parent would be in denial. And then another parent, it differs. It
Yeah.
differs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we have a
But parents these days, they really take the students' education seriously, and
yeah.
it really it makes the flow of everything much better.
It makes your life easier.
Yes.
We have a comment here from Victor.
Yes.
Any environment that contributes to mind development is a ministry. Christian schools are not just centers of learning, but ministries where we must advance the agenda of God to secure and safeguard the future of children. Thank you, Victor, for that comment. Teacher Lucretia.
Yes.
There was a time where our son was going to school. He was calling all of us teachers. So it was me, but everybody was teacher.
Everyone that's within the premises of a school is teacher to them.
Yes. So, in your opinion, as a teacher with the experience that you have, do you think there's a need for Christian values in our schools, in our school systems?
Yes, I, 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 I stand for that. Yes, a very big yes. There is a
Yes.
need for that.
Okay.
There is a need for
What
that
are
because,
and what would
sir,
yes, yes,
okay,
yes,
most of our Christian values, they add on to our everyday lives. The way our Christian values are, um, they, what's this word to use? Um, Understanding Christian values, it makes you understand how the world runs today. Yes. For example, honesty, kindness, those are the basic humanity or principles that everyone should have. And those are the fundamental things in Christianity. So, and they help us with decision making, and they breed communities that are safe spaces. Yes.
yes. So I guess then you are for
Christianity on its own provides a sense of belonging or support.
yes.
Yes.
And I think over the years, because of what some leaders have done, it has pushed Christianity out of some schools. I mean, you hear stories of leaders in certain communities feeding people grass. I remember there was a story about people eating snakes. Is it just me? Yeah, I think it was snakes and people
Snakes.
were, yes, something
Savannah,
like that.
boros.
Drinking savannah and all those type of things. I mean, if I found myself that I'm not a Christian and I run a school and I start hearing those type of stories, because I think sometimes the blame is really on us as believers that we don't speak against such behavior. So it then
Yes.
comes across like we are endorsing that level of behavior and saying, hey, wait, that is how that is unacceptable. Because
Yes.
now for you to try to say, oh no, can I come and talk to the kids in this school? It becomes a very difficult process that you go through, understandably so, because of what people have seen. And as a principal in a school, you don't want your school to be in the news now for feeding people. You see that my school was there, people were eating grass at my school. So in trying to, because some of these things we keep quiet about them, but they impact badly on spreading the gospel.
Yes, they do.
Yes,
I think one of the mistakes as us Christians that we do is that we shy away from talking about our identity. If I'm in a workplace, I should be able to to talk so much about God, and I should be able to preach the gospel to people. They should know that Lucretia is a God person. Lucretia talks about God more than anything. So I think with
Yeah.
us Christians, our problem is we sometimes let the environment around us dictate on how we should be flowing with our Christianity. If I'm a Christian and I'm going to be here around people in a workplace talking about how they were going down at a certain club on a weekend, and I'm able to pitch in such conversations, obviously I'm compromising myself as a Christian. That is one of the reasons why certain things happen around us, and we, we are unable to correct them is because we allowed them to a certain extent.
Yes.
Yes,
So
let's
we,
not shy away from being able to stand up or speaking about our identity.
yes. I think this is
Yes.
something for me that I was happy about. There was a march, is it some months ago, about this,
Yeah, sometime
uh,
last month.
yes, about the LGBT, uh, yes, yes, movement. And I know people had their own opinions on that. But for me, what I liked was that, or my takeaway was that, oh, wow, it's nice to see, because some people we didn't know that they were Christians until that.
Okay.
Until we saw Rexa. Hey, please don't come for me. Hey. But it was nice for people for us to see people just coming out unashamedly for the gospel. And what I want
Yeah.
us to, I think, as an encouragement for believers is that we do not stop there. That we call out anything. Let us not make sexual sin the only sin that is there.
True. Yeah. Yes.
Yes, let us speak out against all sins. That if we see that something is not going correctly here, let us speak against it. Because,
Yeah.
yes, I think that's a topic that we will talk about sometime. Yeah, another
Yeah.
day. Goofy Gomez says great content. Goofy, please give us some of your money, please. Yes, so Mike, I think we should replay that video so that we just end with the
Hey,
video.
we can end with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also I just want to get teachers' perspective on it because the fake educators have already shared their 2 cents with it. So I think teacher will share what she thinks of this. And I think for those who also joined us later on can also share.
All right.
Of sexual images, pictures of elderly people nude, pictures of an individual who's in a wheelchair with his penis out. All of these sexual pornographic images are made available and placed at the fingertips of children. And I'm sure, Dr. Cruz, I don't know if you knew about this before you signed on, but hopefully this is something that you can address and deal with, because this is immoral and asinine to allow children to be able to see this. Also, this book even shows images of two women having sex, a man and a woman having sex, and two men having sex. That's not perfectly normal. Who decides what's normal? Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Or do parents decide what should be placed at the fingertips and allowed to be taught to their children in the school system? I'll read some of this for you. It says, after a bit, a person's vagina becomes moist and slippery, and the clitoris becomes hard. After a bit, a person's penis becomes erect, stiff, and larger.
Pastor.
Sometimes a bit of clear fluid that may contain a few sperm comes out of the tip of the penis and makes
Pastor.
it wet.
Can we, sir, I'm sorry.
Was it something I said? Was it something I said? If you don't want to hear it in a school board meeting, why should children be able to check?
Sorry. Yes, that is the very graphic video, and we are sorry that we didn't warn you before putting that up. As I was watching that, I'm just reminded of what Victor just said, that everything that deals with mind development is ministry. That we should be very careful. We should be careful and watch like hawks and with interest what is being taught to our children, because we are guaranteed that if this book is written for 10-year-olds in America, and we can be sure that over the years, this material, if we allow it, and if we are not on guard, this material is going to trickle down, and it is going to find its way to our 10-year-olds libraries, and this is the graphic material that is going to be in the hands of our kids. We don't know, it could be in 5 years, could be in 10 years, but it is going to end up in our children's hands. So it's important. I like the word that Victor used, that it is ministry, that the kids are being ministered to, the kids are being molded to think in a certain way. So as an educator, how was it seeing that material? We are busy here saying that people should be mindful, but this is material that is being meant for 10-year-olds.
The book is a bit too much for a 10-year-old, because mind you, these kids, a kid at 10 years old, we assume it's somebody that's still being molded, and kids at that age, you are trying to mold them to who or whatever it is that you want them to be. So giving a 10-year-old content like that, it's a bit.
I guess the question is, would you give it to your kid?
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I feel it's a bit too much for someone that age.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was sharing with Mike earlier that I had a course in UB for a whole semester on sexual reproduction. And during that whole semester, the material was delivered in a professional manner, but it was never explicit the way that it is being presented to these 10-year-olds.
Yes, because they
Yeah.
should.
Yes, because as we already said, sex education is important. That kids know the implications of indulging, but I think how we deliver it is very important.
It's very important. It's very, very important.
Yeah, because the message is important.
Kids these days have access to internet. For a kid to read something like that, it messes up with their heads, and you can never know after reading that what's next.
Yes. So
Like
any last?
people.
Yes.
Yes.
I think, what would you say to a parent who is listening in today? Because as I said at the beginning of the show, that my child will be going to big school soon. What should I look out for as a parent? Mike has already alluded to the fact that some will consider the facilities around and be like, oh no, recreational facilities, because Mike was saying that the problem with some Christian schools, I will not say all Christian, some Christian schools, and the reason why some people don't take their kids to Christian schools is because that the facilities that you find at those schools will probably be below other schools. And hence why then a parent would then, what would then be your encouragement? What should I look for as a parent when I'm now looking for a school for my child? And I think probably for you, why should we consider homeschooling? Yes, I think let's bring it down to you. Why should we consider homeschooling?
Homeschooling it's a very individualized education. Let me say education thing. So it has so much flexibility. If at all your kid is bright in something, that the kid is able to be groomed to be whatever it is that they want to be. If your kid is good in tennis, they're able to go to school and go play that tennis, and there's so much time to be able to see or to be able to pick certain things about your kid, unlike when they're in mainstream schools like that. Yeah.
So there's a level of flexibility, and you are
Yeah.
able to, because I can imagine, maybe I can see that my child is gifted in sports. I can then invest a little more energy into pursuing that dream. Mike,
Yes, because not all kids are gifted academically.
okay, yes,
Yes. Not kids are gifted academically, and if at all in homeschooling, if at all your child has certain learning disabilities, of which most parents tend to figure out years later, if at all they're not really into their child's education. So you are a teacher that's in a homeschooling setup with that limited number of kids. They're able to pick that at a very infant stage.
yes.
Yes.
Mike,
Yeah, I think Lucretia has made a case for homeschooling, but I want to poke the bear just a little bit. I want to poke Lucretia. Let her be poked on our show just a little bit, you
yes,
know.
yes.
Lucretia, if if I had to say conventional school versus homeschool, which one do you think is better? And I know you are biased because of what you do and how you do it. But tell me, if let's say for example, someone moves into Gaborone and they're well off, they have the money, so money's not a problem. Their kids are not they're not special needs or anything,
Yeah.
and they ask you, what do you think is better, homeschool or conventional school? What would you say?
I would say homeschool. For starters, as a parent, I would want my kid to be involved in a lot of things. I would want my kid to be involved in so many activities so that they're able to figure out what they're good at. Not me figuring that out for them figuring out what they are good at. So with homeschooling, that is possible. Very, very possible.
Uh,
And
what? Yeah, I think what I like about it is that option, because we never used to have that option.
yeah,
Yeah, I
some
think
kids
it's good that,
some kids are introverts. They just don't like being around crowds.
like me.
So if I'm like that, I don't like being around people. Allow me to study from home and have a teacher on one-on-one days. Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
can we also
yeah,
say that we are still waiting to see the effects of kids that were exclusively homeschooled?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's 50-50. I think it's 50-50.
yeah. I think it's just as we already said. it's for you as a parent to be properly active in your child's life,
Yes.
and know what will probably, you figure it out, I guess. You see, okay,
Yeah.
this will work for mine, this will, because obviously it's not going to be a blanket situation that if this is going to work for everybody. As you have already said, you mentioned kids with special needs. Kids with special needs, obviously, then you guys are the go-to guys for it, or kids maybe who are more inclined to sports,
Yeah.
then you guys are able, as you, whatever trauma, because I'm sure that as you said earlier about kids falling pregnant. Now you're fallen pregnant, you slipped up, there's a child, but now to go back now to a conventional school could be more traumatic. So then uh,
Yeah.
to have that option that you guys offer, I think it's a good option to have, because I'm sure a lot of people, the reality is that a lot of people, I don't think they know that such options are there. All we know is that conventional school, conventional school, conventional school. So
Yeah.
because I thought of homeschooling, and then I was like, yo, homeschooling, so now I have to do it myself now. And I was like, the guy already doesn't listen to us, so it's just going to be a hot mess. Yeah, so I think thank you, Lucretia, for making time. Any last words uh, for the
Um,
viewers?
okay. I think one thing that I would say to other educators or parents out there is that the kids that we're raising, we should mold them into who we want them to be, or we are the ones responsible for molding them into that. Remember, Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the ways of the Lord, and even when they are old, they shall not depart. So, whatever it is we instill in kids at a tender age, it's what they will flow with going forth.
Yeah.
Yes, I think, yes, that's that for me.
Yeah. Ka Setswana lo re lo ja le sa le metsi.
Yes.
Yes. Mike, your last word.
I think teacher Lucretia has covered everything, and
Yes.
that Victor also covered it. That it's a ministry. I think raising kids generally is a ministry. It's a kids ministry,
It is.
and we have to be very sensitive about the inputs and how the inputs affect the outputs. So we have to be intentional, more
Yeah.
intentional. As other religions are intentional with their kids and with what they learn, we also need to be intentional.
Yes.
I think it's a it's a call for us as Christians to arise into the fullness of who we are, into our full identity in
Yes.
Christ, and not let other people run the show while we sit back and just receive the negative effects of what
Yes.
is happening to us, that we also play an active role, especially in education, because we have to
Yeah.
realize that this is future generations that are being impacted, that are being taught, that are being trained, these ideologies that are there, that we already talked about it. Just be active as a parent. Don't be passive in your parenting. Know where your children is. Know who your child's friends are, what they do at their homes. So we cannot afford, especially because we hear all these stories of Satanism, all these devil worship
Yeah.
going on in schools, that we also are active, that we are constantly. I think one thing for me that I appreciate about my father was that every morning the old man would be up praying for us. Every morning without, I think that was our alarm in the morning. You just hear the old man in the sitting room just pray like, okay, I guess it's the time to wake up now. Yes. So I think even for us, just to wake up our children and cover them as we release them out there, because there are a lot of wolves that are out there. There's a lot of evil. I think we cannot afford to bury our heads in the sand and hope that it will all go well. That we have to be active. And I think for us as Christians, it starts in a place of prayer. That just cover those kids, just cover them, and then take it from there. Then that we are also involved. That when a position of a head of PTA comes, that you are jumping up to be influential in those positions. That we do not.
We need to be unapologetic Christians. It's very,
Yes,
we need to
yes,
take spaces. We need to take
amen.
space. Yes.
Yes. I think, thank you for, I see you have a, Tato Mo says, thank you, MJ, Mike, and Miss Lou. I've learned a lot from you. May the Lord bless you abundantly for the work you are doing. Thank you, T.
Thank
You've
you.
made,
So,
Mr. T has made this session a very pleasant session. I think shout out to Tato, Goofy Gomez, Victor, everybody else who has also engaged with us, because it's nicer when it's a
When people
community. People are engaged. Yes, and we can see Mike.
we learn from one another.
Yes, and Mike has thoroughly enjoyed his oros today.
I have. I haven't finished it though. It's still going.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Very
And
much
thank
for
you,
having.
Lucretia, for
Thank
making
you.
time. And
Thank you.
hopefully, we will get a part 2 and we will chat more.
No
Because I
problem with
think
that.
that, yes, it's a very big topic and we cannot cover it in just one sitting.
It is. It is
Yes,
that I'm assuming there are other aspects or areas that we haven't touched.
cast. Yes, that's true. We laid the foundation and we will come back and start building up now.
Most definitely.
Okay, thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
guys for tuning in. Share the content with your family and friends, and see you guys on Sunday, 7 p.m. sharp. This one is going to be a good one on Sunday. It's going to be a good one. Okay, cheers.